Hi, my name is Kyle Chelmy, and I am a significant Ron Paul supporter. Um, I'm just making a YouTube clip real quick, see what we can get out there. But as far as for this 25-year-old male citizen, resident of Pennsylvania, um, I support Ron Paul very thoroughly. I believe in his morality, his ability to um, consistently believe in our values. Um, as well as just Ron Paul himself as a man, as a person. Uh, I feel that he is exactly what we are looking for. Um, I feel that Ron Paul, if given presidential election, there is areas he can definitely use assistance. Nobody's perfect, but as a whole, I feel we have not seen a president like Ron Paul since Reagan. Um, he's very inspiring for young youth such as myself. Um, I believe his intake on war on drugs, his intake on the war on people the prohibition that's being caused right now, um, the lack of our constitutional rights. Our Constitution is being put on a back burner. That is an issue. Paul clearly stated um, that half of our citizens just don't fight it or are against it because they never even knew what their rights were to begin with thoroughly, outside of common textbook knowledge, um, freedom of speech, so on, etc. Um, I feel that the media is just robbing Ron Paul of airtime, but inevitably they're actually, by robbing him, they're giving him such a strength people cannot find. They're not seeing Ron Paul debates and clips, um, videos. They're being banned. Fox News outbanned 2 to 3 videos back in 2008 of Ron Paul. Um, but due to that, he is getting so much live stream interaction. I must say they're propping them up to a point where it's just it's gonna come down to they're gonna air him. Ron Paul is, in my mind, a for sure runner-up for the presidential election. Uh, he's trying to defeat every corrupt issue, and it's exciting for me. It's very exciting for me. I have felt that we are a nonchalant communist country. We are given freedoms and rights, but then for what? What's going on behind the scenes? I feel like we are being, as citizens, treated as infants. We are being controlled and methodically placed and limited, and kind of like the mother and the child scenario. The child wants to get on, go play on the playground, and the mother says no. And if you listen, I will get ice cream when I'm done. The child then no longer wants to be on the playground because then they then have ice cream. That is simplicity at its finest right there, but inevitably that's what it is. That's what it comes down to. That's what our government does. They say, no, you cannot have your natural born rights, but we'll go get ice cream. And for a 25-year-old citizen, this is supposed to be home. I as well just have found out I have a child on the way. I don't want ice cream. I want security. I want my constitutional rights. I want the ability to choose for myself what I feel is best for myself. And everything Ron Paul has to say revolving around that issue right there, I have vowed in backing. I believe it. It's kind of he things he says is exactly what goes through my heart as an American citizen. I'm now going to go on to the internet brutality. There's a 93% of people that citizens that view Ron Paul on live stream internet capabilities 93% support Ron Paul. There is the 7%. The 7% of videos that I have them watching are consistent in the ideas of he's irrational, he's crazy, he's coming up with these absurd ideals. In all actuality, I will pour Ron Paul here, and I will not respond too thoroughly to ignorance or negligence. Ron Paul is changing nothing. He is making America more about America. And the very first step of that is the people. We formed this nation, and without us, there is no nation. I do believe that if the government keeps this up, it will result in a civil war where the people will fight their government. And I pray to God that is not what it comes to. A strong hand in violence should not be how you obtain your results. And right now that is what America is known for. Obtaining results through unmoral and unjust reasons and causes. And then when asked about these decisions, they are neglected and banned, ignored. That's our government. That is not reassuring in any sense. Exhausted patriotism, inevitably, the way our government, the way our civil rights are being trampled by our government, is resulting in this young man's exhausted patriotism. It is resulting in movements like Wall Street, amongst the Tea Parties coming about in a wide range of states. It just, excuse me, I fear for my child, and it is not due to my ignorance or lack of decisions. I have a lot to learn as far as becoming a parent, but beyond the stress of, or not the stress, but beyond the concern I had for being a proper parent, I now have to worry about not just parenting my child, but the world this child is going to walk into. This child, my child, will form another American citizen, and I do not want him or she or he to be robbed, lied to, neglected. I want them to have every opportunity that the American dream can consist of. And I feel that they do not have that opportunity right now. So as a upcoming father, I have an exhausted patriotism to a point. Cartel is such an ugly word. It's drug dealers and people breaking the law. I get that there definitely is a fine line of just and unjust, but for this young man, patriotism is exhausted at a point to where people will do whatever they have to do to protect their family. And the government is not our family. I don't feel any connection with our government or our nation. I feel that it is very cutthroat. And right now, all I can do as a young man is try to provide and take care of my family. And through the government, that will not happen positively. Inevitably, I'm going to end this up with, again, I support Ron Paul to the fullest. I realize that I am very negligent or ignorant on a lot of these issues and subjects. I am trying to become more involved and more understanding to both the pros and cons of Ron Paul. I believe that if you are going to support somebody, you should also know the flaw behind it as well as the positive. To Ron Paul, I say peace. You are an outstanding citizen, an outstanding man. Uh, and I will constantly support you. You have reinstated faith in a young gentleman. Uh, I feel you are the perfect candidate for our presidency. Uh, don't let him snuff you, Ron Paul. Don't let him shut you down. There's, I can't even tell you probably how many people just like me. Uh, just keep doing it. The more you bring the truth to the table, it might be hard to hear, but the more you bring the truth to the table, people can allow themselves to finally walk out of this fairy tale life that's been trying to be built for us, and realize truth. And with truth does come heartache, but then from that you rebuild yourself as a human, as a person, as a citizen, and then as a nation, states, and then nation. We got it all wrong from the get-go. I simply feel that Ron Paul is trying to correct our mistakes, and the government that made those mistakes. Nobody likes being wrong. Nobody wants to admit defeat, especially on a mass scale of a nation. With Ron Paul, I again support you until the day I die. If given an opportunity, I would greatly love to be a part of your campaign. And to Ron Paul, I would gladly take a bullet for you, Ron Paul. If it meant you possibly instilling values back into our nation that will allow for my child, my neighbor's child, to have a positive life, a chance to decide for themselves. I fear so much, but entrust in you, Ron Paul. So again, peace. You are outstanding, man.